Greetings, my friends, and welcome back. Most listened to radio talk show in the country, hosted by me, America's real anchorman, America's truth detector, and the doctor of democracy, serving humanity while executing assigned host duties flawlessly. Zero mistakes. Telephone number, and we are going to get to phone calls in this hour, is 800-282-2882. And if you want to send an email, it's lrushbo@eibnet.com. We do check the email, but I mean, it's like 12,000. Well, it's in less than a day. I forget. Yeah, it's 12,000 a day, something like that. It's impossible to go through all of them. That does include the spam, but it's not a whole lot because we have good filters. So a couple of polling data bits of news here before we get to the healthcare stack, which is voluminous today. The healthcare stack is voluminous, and it's none of it's good, and I think all of it's by design. Fox News, latest poll, among all the data that Fox reports, presidential approval and all of that, they've got a number, 74%. The American people think that too many people are relying on government. Now, this is another one of these polls that doesn't make any sense when you compare it to the way people vote. When you compare it to what Washington's getting away with, it doesn't make any sense. And aside from the Limbaugh theorem, I don't know that there is any other explanation. 74% think people are relying too much on government. Well, they're right. That number is actually pretty strong. I wouldn't mind it being a little higher. But then this other poll, I just got this from Paul Bedard at the Washington Examiner. And this is let's see, who did the poll? It's a YouGov poll, Y-O-U-G-O-V, YouGov. This is about people's attitudes on the American dream. And the headline of the story is that more Democrats than Republicans say the American dream is dead. 53% of Democrats think the American dream is dead. 27% of Republicans think it's dead. Now, I'm not surprised that 53% of Democrats think the American dream is dead. I don't know how many Democrats ever really believed in it, outside of their fortunes tied to unions. I'm serious. You know, many lifelong Democrats have union roots that explain their lifelong devotion to the Democrat Party. But there are some interesting things here. Almost 5 years into Obama's transformation of this country, 53% of Democrats say the American dream is dead, not coming back. I mean, when American dream's dead, it's dead. It's not the American dream is becoming out of reach. It's dead. Obama is not a savior for Democrats in the American dream. And once again, hello Limbaugh theorem, but I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the pessimism. 53% of Democrats think the American dream is dead. 27% of Republicans think it's dead. Now, in a political context, this is another glorious opening for a sensible conservative message. Some people, you know them, and I know them, some people are so immersed in fatalism and negativity that they can't be salvaged. I don't know what percentage, but there's some people just hopelessly, no matter what evidence or inspiration you provide them, they're lost. But I don't believe that all of this 53% has given up. I think an uplifting, positive, can-do message, if delivered not out of false optimism and not sugar-coated, syrupy, sweet, unrealistic, but it's a genuine, optimistic, we are Americans. We can do whatever we want, whatever obstacles are in our way. We can find our way around them. That's been the history of our country. It's been the history of greatness, the greatness of our people. Life has never had the road paved to riches, other than for the Kennedys and others who inherited. But the vast majority of people who've had to work hard had to make it. And there have always been obstacles. For the days of the founding of this country, for the next 150 years, it was brutal out there. Maybe even longer than that. For some people, it was brutal in the 20s and 30s during the Depression. But we've always come out of it. The thing is, we've always come out of it because we've always had leaders who wanted to come out of it and who wanted to lead people out of it. One of the problems we have today is we have leadership that doesn't really believe we can come out of it. Well, I'm not inspired when I hear Obama talk about the formulaic things that he does. We believe in America, you work hard and everybody gets a job. And you work hard and it pays off and it's fair for everybody. That's not inspiration. He's just spouting things that he thinks certain people want to hear. But Obama's not inspiring greatness. Obama's not inspiring people to go beyond themselves. Barack Obama does not have it in him to make people think that they're better than they are. I don't care who you are. We all need a little boost. And I don't mean somebody giving us assistance, opening doors and that kind of. I mean, none of us, very few of us, are self-starters. You think back to the best teacher that you had. You might have hated whoever it was at the time, but when you look back on it, more than likely, the person that you remember as being the best teacher is somebody that demonstrated or allowed you to demonstrate that you were better than you thought you were. That you were more capable of things than you thought you were. We all need to be inspired. There are a precious few who can do it themselves. Most people need the push. Most people need to be told. Most people need the attaboy. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's crucial. Now, Obama does sing this song about a brighter tomorrow and a better future and all that, but doesn't. His message is for dreamers, not doers. Dreamers generally don't do anything. They sit around and dream and they wait and they hope things align and happen. The doers need to be inspired. And I guarantee you, I will never forget back in the 90s, white-collar people were laid off for the first time in the modern era at greater numbers than blue-collar people were. And at the time, the media and others running around, well, it's about time, damn it. Let them white-collar management executives, let them find out what it's like for the rest of us. They were happy about it. Some people are made to feel better when others are in misery. That's a fact, too. A lot of the people that were being laid off back then, the white-collar executive management types, were in their 40s and 50s, and there wasn't... Well, the odds were not too great that they were going to be able to replace what they lost by simply going out looking for another job. During a recession, particularly, I mean, they had reached a high point after years and years and years of trying to get there. Then they had it taken away from them. The idea that they were going to be able to go out and get a new job and replace what they had was doubtful. And yet, we came out of the recession, and those people, a lot of them ended up doing okay. We did a 3-day series of programs focusing on those people and asked them to call and tell us how they dealt with it. And it was fascinating. There were exceptions, but the vast majority of them took the opportunity of being laid off or fired to finally doing what they'd always wanted to do with their lives. They had been employee prisoners. They went to school, they came out, they had their degrees, they went to work where they went to work, and the job was a job. And they worked hard at it, but they always had things they really would rather have done. It's just there wasn't a way to get paid for it. So the career path that they took out of college was the route. Well, now that was taken away. They had to do something. And many of them took the risk of starting their own business, becoming their own bosses. I'll never forget that calls that we got in those 3 days. People never been happier, they said. They never felt more satisfied. They may not be earning any money yet, but they were doing what they loved, and they enjoyed getting up every day. They felt like they'd been reborn. Well, this can still happen. You don't have to be laid off for it. We're in the circumstances, more people out of work than ever before, fewer jobs available than ever before. Obstacles exist. Although we've had periods of time in our past where the obstacles were just as bad. Great Depression would be one, the Civil War. There have been other times. I think the time is ripe for a political message of optimism, personal optimism, coupled with the fact that you live in the best place on earth to be successful. You live in the best place on earth. If you want opportunities to overcome, if you want opportunities to prosper, however that is defined by you, you live in the best place on earth for that to happen. Still, to this day, you still live in the best place on earth. 53% of Democrats say the American dream is dead. Well, who do they listen to? The Democrat Party, liberalism itself, is the embodiment of pessimism and defeat. Liberalism and the Democrat Party exist by telling people they can't make it. The deck is stacked against them. Life is unfair. It isn't their fault. There is discrimination. There is racism. There is bigotry. You name it. Every reason in the world to fail is there, and by the way, totally understandable. The Democrat Party, because they need a permanent underclass of low-skilled, low-information people depending on government, fosters pessimism. And the optimism those people have is what government's going to do for them, and having the right people in government who understand their plight and are going to do something, versus people who would rather teach them how to take care of themselves, how to be the best they can be, how to not listen to naysayers who say it can't be done, and simply take advantage of the one life we're all ever going to have and make the most of it. Now, the message of can-do and optimism is magic, precisely because most people do not possess the ability to feel that way on their own. Like I said yesterday, you don't have to go to the library to find a series of books on how to fail, because we all already know how to do that. But the people who have written how to succeed books, how to think positive books, have become millionaires because it apparently is not something that comes naturally to people. The double whammy is the existence of a powerful political party reinforcing the notion of failure, reinforcing the notion of it's not possible. And these people, it is really a shame. The Democrat Party, they tell their voters it's not possible because capitalism's unfair, Capitalism's unfair. The game is rigged. The rich have everything. You don't have a chance. They're stealing it all from you. And they also tell people that they can't succeed because they really don't have any faith in them anyway. That's why Bloomberg feels the need to be in control of what every New Yorker eats and drinks, because he doesn't think they have the ability to do the right thing for themselves. And he's just like every other liberal. Now, we conservatives, on the other hand, we don't want to be in charge how people live. We don't want to even have to worry about it. We want a great country. We want people prospering. We want people experiencing all that life has to offer, or at least giving it a shot. We want the bounty of this country exploited and captured and experienced and used. It is quite honest to say that we want the best for everybody. Sadly, this message does not come from any political party today. The Republican Party doesn't feel like saying. I mean, this doom and gloom is everywhere. This pessimism is everywhere. And we've gotten to the point now more and more people just resign to it. That's just, to me, is unacceptable. 53% of Democrats, American dream's dead, but only 27% of Republicans. That's a stark difference right there. Poll question. Some 63 agreed with the statement. Anyone with talent who is willing to work hard and put the effort in can have a successful career and rise to the top regardless of their background. 63% agree with that. 23% agreed with this. Success in America today is mostly reserved for those from privileged backgrounds who know the right people. Talented people from poor backgrounds don't have a chance. I mean, folks, only 23% of people agreed with that. The Democrat Party has not convinced a majority of Americans that life is over for them. There is still a grand opportunity to reach people here.